Hi, I'm Christopher Herring, and this is our show, What in the World? What in the World is brought to you by Global Chamber San Antonio. This was my show to be able to talk about what was happening after and during the coronavirus pandemic. Today, I have a very special guest, Tasha Carr. But before I talk about Tasha Carr, I want you to see that I'm wearing a mask. This is a surgical mask. Some of you might be able to procure surgical masks, wear them outside. The second mask is what they call the N95 mask. This is also one that's being used by the medical folks, but is also readily available in some of the markets across the world. These are also filtered and safe to use. Today, Tasha, I welcome you.
Thank you.
This is really a rare time in our history.
It is.
I had the privilege and pleasure of meeting you, as a businesswoman in the community of San Antonio, but I really came to appreciate what you were doing because of the volunteer work that you were doing with the Judson Independent School District.
Thank you.
So, first of all, tell us who you are, where you're from.
Okay. So I am Tasha Carr, and I am the owner of Inflatable Movies and More. And I'm from Flint, Michigan, and I currently reside in San Antonio.
Oh, so you're from Flint, Michigan. Now, Flint,
Yes.
Michigan, for the world to know, Flint, Michigan was also in headlines
Yes.
over the past couple of years in terms of the quality of water.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and so how did you end up in San Antonio, Texas?
I ended up in San Antonio, Texas, because I'm retired military. I was last stationed in Fort Polk, Louisiana.
So you said military, you mean Army?
Yes, Army.
Because I'm retired Air Force. And
I'm retired Army.
Okay, very good.
And so I retired out of Fort Polk, Louisiana, and I used to be stationed in San Antonio. So I couldn't go back to Michigan. I didn't want to live in Louisiana, so I diverted here.
Well, I think that probably was, there's a purpose, God has a purpose for you to be here.
Definitely.
So what did you do in the United States Army?
I was an 88 Mike, transportation.
Okay, so
Yes.
she used the term 88 Mike. Now, for all those people who never served in the military, that's a nomenclature for a career field called transportation.
Yes, transportation. I was a transporter and a supervisor.
So what
Yes.
so what does that mean? You were a transporter. What did you drive?
So we drive the semi trucks. We drive anything with wheels. Anything that has wheels on it, we drive it.
Okay.
Yes.
Because one of your Facebook posts, you mentioned about how during this crisis, how we need
Yes.
to not only to applaud and support those who were in the front of lines of the medical community, but
Yes.
then also to give some praise to those who are the drivers, the truck drivers, the
Yes.
folks who are making sure that deliveries get made.
Yes. Definitely. Always thank you. The same way you thank military for their service, I believe that you should render that same respect to the truck drivers who are out here as well on the front lines. Give them that same appreciation. Thank them, because when we're sleeping at night and, we're in our beds all comfy, they're up, they're running, the roads, they're getting what we need in the stores, they're getting what we need to continue having gas, and everything that we need is because of a transporter. And is no way around it, but they work really hard, and especially right now they're working really hard. So definitely give them praise when you see them.
Okay, so you were supporting Judson Independent School District as
Yes.
a nonprofit, as a business, or as an individual? I mean, what brought your support on?
I just started supporting it as an individual. I have a business, but it didn't have anything to do with my business. I started it as an individual with a heart. So that is how I created the diverse group that I have right now. So, my group is made up of about 20 volunteers. And we also get volunteers who, come and go. They're not our regular volunteers. They just, I guess we would say reserves. And they come in and they...
How many?
About our reserves, we have maybe about 7 right now. Yeah, but like 20 stables that come all the time.
So the people so they started volunteering with you because they saw you were doing something in the community and they wanted to be a part of it, or
Yes. So how did it get started? Monday. The program started on a Monday, and I wanted to see how the program operated. I just wanted to know everything. So I went up to Candlewood Elementary School, which is a part of Judson, and I went up there. I talked to them. I asked them, can I see the food? Who's coming to get the food? Who's allowed to get it? What are you doing for the people who don't have the transportation to get here? And so I told them I'd be back for lunch. I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna go live on my own, Facebook.
So you said the food, but you're talking about the children who received the free lunches?
Yes.
Or the free meals
The
because
free meals.
of their income?
Right.
And you saw that as being a need, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, because most kids that may be in those served communities may not have the transportation or the wherewithal to be able to navigate to get those meals that are being provided by the state.
Right, and not just our youth, but our seniors too, because we have a lot of seniors that's out there that didn't have food because it hit in the middle of the month. So you had seniors out there that didn't have food. You had disabled veterans who are seniors who can't get around. So that, in my head, all I'm seeing is, okay, there's a lot of people at a disadvantage right now, youth and seniors. Pretty much like you and I, we can fend for ourselves at this type of, during this age. But when it's youth and seniors, they have the more underlying medical conditions. So they, diabetes, you have to eat on time, and, all those type of disorders and stuff, seizures and stuff. So that was my main concern. So I talked to Candlewood Elementary. I went up to Wagner. I did the same thing. Can I see your food? Blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to know that it was enough nutrition so that when I offer this to the community, we'd be okay.
So did you have to mix different support, meaning the schools already had meals reserved for the children,
Right.
and so but those meals didn't go to the elderly; those went straight to the students. But then you also had to get other support from
Right.
grocery stores and so forth.
Well, I said that I had to get clearance from the school to be able to serve those meals to seniors as well.
Okay, so then you went through a process to get that approved.
Right,
Okay.
to get it approved, because I let them know, like, hey, this is what I'm seeing on the front lines.
Right.
On the front lines, I'm seeing seniors coming up to me while I'm out there and asking me, can they have what we're serving? And you can tell they haven't eaten. Some of them are like, they immediately dig in and start eating what I give them, and they don't even care what it is. They just, I feel better now. So you knew that they were struggling. So
So what geography of the city were you covering in your volunteer work?
pretty much like the northeast side, 78244, some of 78109.
Okay.
So that area right there, pretty much, let's see, those subdivisions would consist of Candlewood, Montebello Apartments, Winfield, Park Village, those different areas right there.
Good.
Yeah.
And that's important because sometimes when we think about the need for providing food to people who are at risk and our youth and our disabled veterans, sometimes it's just too broad. But when you talk about those neighborhoods where people are residing and where they live and they eat, hopefully they're eating, this is where you actually saw the opportunity to bring in, you said about 20 volunteers.
Yes.
To do this. So, I just want to say I personally said on your Facebook Live that it's obvious that the Army had a general that that landed into San Antonio to do this very special mission of taking care of children, our elderly, and our disabled veterans. So I still applaud you.
Thank you. It cost about $500 to run this operation a week. So I was coming out of personal money. I was looking for donors and sponsors and stuff like that. So, and the reason why it costs so much is because our volunteers have good hearts and they're not in it for the money at all, you know. But at the same token, when the driver calls you and say, hey, my gas light is on and I have, you know, 100 meals in the back of my car, that means, ouch, you know, we're near like deliver. We have to get these meals to where they have to go. Like we have to get them to the families. So we use that money strictly for gas for them and also for the back office as well. Because, let's see, I still have to send reports to the schools, to Candlewood and Judson, and they have to send it to their hire. So I have to put every family on a spreadsheet and how many meals they receive and everything like that, and then I send them up. So of course that naturally costs for ink and paper and folders and everything else you can imagine. So it's a team effort. It's a big team. It's like I created a big team and we all.
You created your own army.
Yeah, pretty much, yes. And we all rolling.
Look, and we're not mad at you because again, you know, I think that there's a difference between those who are really sheltered in, and then those who are taking the risk of life of their own personal finances. Thank God that you were able to do this for as long as you did, but now I also know that nonprofits that I know of have asked to see how they can ask you and your volunteers to be a part of their army moving forward, but I know that that probably comes with some terms because you're used to being the general of your army. So just tell them. I'm Christopher Herring with What in the World. This is the second part of our interview with Tasha Carr. Tasha Carr is a person who's been doing some great work, volunteer work, I mean, a non-compensated work, give back work during this coronavirus pandemic that has really changed families and lives in San Antonio, Texas, and really all around the world. And so today we were just talking about the great need that the community has for volunteers. So if you were talking to our mayor, and our mayor was right here, what would you say to him about the coronavirus and what you see with boots on the ground in our community?
Coronavirus and boots on the ground. I would tell him that we definitely need to hone in on the smaller communities, the disadvantaged, the lower income. You have to. They're uninformed. They don't have internet. They don't have, you know, they're not middle class. They don't have the internet. They don't have the laptops, all that stuff. Like the schools want the kids to go to school, but if you have 6, 7 kids in a home, all the kids can't get on at one time.
You saw this with your own eyes?
My own eyes. You know, parents was stressing to us, you know, we have a thing, when it first started, we would allow the parents to, you know, speak with us and things of that nature. But once the heightened risk went up, we encouraged the parents, now you have to put a basket or a box outside the home. You're not allowed to open the door, you know, the doors to talk to us, so we drop and knock. So we drop the food, we knock, and we go away. So, but during the time, you always get the ones that break the rules. So, you know, we have on masks and we have on gloves. All our PPE, we wear it while we're out there. So, you know, you get the families that talk to us and they're at a disadvantage. They don't have internet. They don't have all these luxurious TVs and things of that nature. They're solely dependent on us to make the difference for them.
Wow.
They're dependent on us to show up every day. And when we don't, they make sure they let us know, or their neighbor will call us and say, hey, my neighbor didn't get this or whatever. So they don't have that. And that's who we need to focus on. Okay. Because those are the same individuals who are not receiving medicine. You know, like I have insurance. So it's easy, you know, and also I'm transportation, so I'm a delivery driver too. You know, I have a company that delivers things. One of the things that we deliver is prescriptions, and we deliver, you know, medicine, things that you need. So we have your monthly supplies. Okay. So there are customers who we deliver diapers to or formula to for a month, or You know, the elderly, we deliver their the bedpans and stuff. We deliver all that stuff to them. So you have those families who are at a disadvantage. They don't have any of that.
Wow.
You know? So those are the families that we hone in on. The Sunrise families, the Montebello families, those, you know, the Park Village. It's certain families. But that's just a fraction. You know, there's so many other families. You have SAISD district. You have the East Side. It's so many families that we're missing.
The West Side, the South Side.
The South, oh my gosh, the West Side. Yeah, every side of town has that one area.
So.
There are areas in San Antonio on each side, it's all quadrants, that aren't receiving the information. We assume that everyone has television. We assume that everyone has internet. And we assume that everyone has a radio or a cell phone. We really believe that everyone has that at their advantage. And being out there, everyone does not have it. They don't. Range to them.
But are you seeing nonprofit organizations filling the gap as you were with your volunteers?
Yes, I see some nonprofit organizations coming out. The ones who can weather the storm, they're coming out. They're doing what they can.
Are there any nonprofits that you can think of that?
I can think of one in particular. It's called Dream Leadership.
Okay.
So directed by Anthony. Yes, Anthony Lawrence, I believe. That's the one that comes to mind.
Wow.
That is the only organization that I know, but not to say that there's not more out there. Yeah. Because I know there is. I know Soldiers Angels is still out there doing what they have to do.
Who were some of the people helping you that you really thought deserved some praise?
Wow. You know what? I'll tell you what. Before this started, when I was growing up and I was young, I always made fun like, oh, that's the lunch lady, you know. And I learned real quick that those are child nutritionists. And they don't get nearly enough praise for what they're doing right now. And on a day-to-day basis, even when it's not a crisis, nobody mentions the child nutritionist. But they work really hard. So like Candlewood and Wagner, all of the Justin High, all of the school districts, you know, that's out there, they're getting up at 3 in the morning and they're in these kitchens turning on all these toasts because they serve hot food. Okay. They're not just serving no regular food. This is hot food. So they're getting in there and they're doing this every day, Monday through Friday. And I really feel like they don't get enough praise.
So in your volunteer service, so was actually going through the weekend. So was there a substitute for when the schools are closed on Saturday and Sunday? I mean, what happened? So with me,
I would go Monday through Friday. That way I can give the team a break. Because my biggest thing with being in the military, you too, you know, the one thing that we always preached as leaders and we were always cautious of was reaching burnouts.
Right.
So I tried so hard not to burn my team out. So that's kind of a reason why we took a reset break too for a week off. That way we could come back strong. You know, you never want to reach a burnout and then you start losing people.
How did you deal with your burnout stage?
No lie, I was packing a lunch one day and I looked up at one of my volunteers and I said, you know what, we got to take a break. We running too hard. We have to talk to the school district. We have to try to find some support. We have to. We didn't have the support. It wasn't there.
But now the school district, did they turn a new leaf to this situation, or what have they done that complements the leadership that you've inspired in the community?
I believe that they turned a new leaf by listening to what we're doing, although they can't fund us because, of course, rules and regulations govern them.
Yeah.
But they did highly encourage that if we can we please stay out there, you know? Mm-hmm. So a lot was riding on my back. I'm like, oh, the district want us out there, but at the same time, I know the kids and the youth need us as well. So, yeah, the district, they really can't support us, but they can jump in on the action, you know? So they did begin to pull out their vans that they have.
Okay. And
they did come off of the buses, and I see them going door to door as well. The buses were to stay in one spot, and the families were to go to the bus. And I said, how is that supposed to work? It doesn't work that way. Families can't come out of their homes. You have families who have they can't come out.
Yeah, they already have mobility challenges all by
Yeah.
themselves, and to ask them to come out to a central stop may not even work.
Okay.
When you're out there and you're driving and you see
Yes.
all these workers who are supporting the city and keeping people with the ability to get food and
Yes.
and to care for children and to do the work with the elderly, but when I don't see them with PPE,
Yes.
then it makes me wonder who's leading that company, who's leading that agency, who's leading, because they're putting their people out there,
Yep. And putting them at risk.
putting them at risk.
And it's a great point that you brought up, because when I'm out there and I see people like that, I hardly encourage them like, hey, where's your gear? This thing is more serious than
But what do they say to you when you say that?
Some people
What's the
say that
feedback?
they don't have it, and so we just tell them like, you can use anything. You can use a shirt, you can use whatever. And I tell them like, I have gloves. You know, here's gloves, because some of the people that we support, the customers, they actually give us what we need, because we ask, we say, listen, this is what we need, and we have one lady, she gives us gloves every week. So I think that is so cool.
Did you get any type of business sponsorship or corporate sponsorship that kind of was ride and die with you?
Uh-huh.
Ride and die meaning that
Yes.
they were with you from the beginning and they're going to be with you throughout the hardships and the good times and the bad times. But
Light the Night LED. Light the Night LED, Mr. Vernon Miller.
Oh, wow.
He didn't know me at all. And one of his partners went in and talked to him, and he called me on the phone. He said, hey, I love what you're doing. I like it. I watch the videos. You don't have to say anything to me. Come in tomorrow and pick up a check.
wow.
And just like that, he wrote a check and was like, I want y'all to stay out there doing what you're doing. I'm very proud of you guys. And so, yes, he did. And then we have like, we had a truck driver who sponsored us too, Raul. He sponsored us. And
Thank you, Raul.
Yeah, thank you, Raul. And we've had different people from San Antonio. Just, Tasha Jackson, which is a singer here in San Antonio.
Okay.
Just different people just come to our rescue and sponsor us.
Tasha Jackson's a singer?
Yes, she's a singer here.
I encourage everybody to
Yes.
go ahead and find her music and then buy her music to support her
Yes.
volunteer spirit.
And so many, my old first sergeant, Lisa Carter, yes,
Okay.
just all kind of different people. Just my sister, Vanilla, everybody just came in and they started pouring in what they could to our Cash App or whatever. And I was like, listen, when I tell you this is going to be used for the drivers, strictly for the drivers and back office, and that's what it was used for, and it was just enough to, get them what they needed.
Well, I appreciate what you're saying, because sometimes our donations don't have to go to 501c3 approved organizations. Sometimes you can just take a look at the people who are actually serving, their integrity, their history of service, and so I'm finding though as a trend that that retired military, separated military, who really have a real deep love for their country and for the place that they live, they're doing that, and
Yes.
y'all make me proud. Well, I've really enjoyed having Tasha on this show today, What in the World.
Thank you.
Again, this is a show that's presented by Global Chamber San Antonio. I'm the Executive Director, Christopher Herring, and if you like this video, please share it. We want to make sure that we're supporting Tasha in all of her endeavors. And how do people get in contact with you if they want to contribute to what you're doing?
Yes. So you can get in contact with me. I'll start with my phone number, because that's a business phone. So 210-810-8511. Or you can email me. It's careliteservices@yahoo.com. Or you can Cash App us. It's the $MZCARR520.
All right, so we'll try to put that into the caption area of the video. And again, what is your business?
So my business is Inflatable Movies and More.
Well, great. Inflatable Movies and More to the rescue. And
Yes.
we appreciate you. Again, what in the world? If you have your PPE, please wear it when you're out.
Yes.
Please do what the city mayor is asking you to do. And our governor of the state, we want to make sure that you're safe, that you're alive. And again, protect your babies, protect your grandparents, protect your parents, protect your wives, protect your husbands, protect your children, protect your loved ones. And we'll do this together, and those numbers will keep coming down. So thank you again for your time. We love you.
So, sometimes, and you and I have both been leaders, and we still are. And as leaders, we're at, we're up here and we're sitting in offices and we're sitting in our buildings, and
I don't be sitting, girl.
I don't sit either. As you know, I don't sit. I get out.
I take offense to that.
But some leaders, they don't leave their office. They never go to the front line. So the problem is they become jaded. They become jaded and outdated. They have no clue what's going on the front lines.
Hashtag that, please. Jaded and outdated.
They don't have a clue. So when you get someone like me who requests to speak to you, it's like, ooh, we didn't think about that. Oh, wow. And it's like,
Who is she?
Yeah.
Let me go to her LinkedIn.
Right, let me see who she is. Because who is this woman that I've never met before, and now she's calling me, telling me what we need to do. I have doctors in my title. These are all doctors that I'm speaking with. So it's like I get and I respect who you are, but I'm telling you, I'm out here on these front lines every day, and I'm listening to the stories. I love it.